1918 Spain, 1957 Asia, 1968 Hong Kong, and 2009. Do you know what is common with these dates and locations? You don't know? Let me tell you, brace yourself. Each of these dates marks the emergence of an invisible, chilling specter, an unseen force so potent and deadly that it reshaped human history. These are the years when the world was gripped by the icy fingers of influenza pandemics, each outbreak a harrowing tale of mystery, struggle, and survival. Before we continue, let me welcome you all. I am V, and welcome to the best health channel on YouTube, where we talk about everything health. Not to waste more of your time, let's continue. In the shadowed corridors of history, the year 1918 whispers tales of a ghostly enemy, the Spanish flu, a relentless phantom cloaked in the guise of coughs and fevers, sweeping through crowded streets and desolate homes alike. It claimed millions, leaving cities in mournful silence, a world haunted by loss and fear. Then, as the echoes of this tragedy began to fade, a new specter arose in 1957, born in the bustling heartlands of Asia. This was the Asian flu, a malevolent force that traveled on the wings of modernity, leaping across oceans and borders, sowing illness and chaos, a grim reminder of the ever-present threat lurking within the very air we breathe. In 1968, the world faced yet another ominous chapter with the emergence of the Hong Kong flu. This sinister wave of illness crept silently into homes and communities, a quiet horror that left tens of thousands in its cold embrace, a grim dance of death and despair playing out in hospitals and quarantines. And then, in 2009, the globe was once again united in apprehension, this time by the H1N1 pandemic. It emerged as a modern nightmare, a digital age specter rapidly spreading its shadow through cities and villages, its story told in real time across the world's glowing screens, a tale of science racing against time to stem the tide of infection. These pandemics, separated by time and geography, are bound by a common thread of dread and uncertainty. They are stark reminders of nature's dark power, of how a microscopic entity can bring the world to its knees, challenging our understanding of life, death, and our place in the ever-unfolding story of humanity. In their wake, they leave not just the memories of those lost, but also a haunting question that lingers in the air like a mist. But guess what? They were teasers for the disease that had the whole world on standstill. The COVID-19, man-made or Mother Nature protecting itself, we might never know. Origins. The 1918 influenza pandemic's exact origins remain uncertain. However, it's widely believed that the virus, an H1N1 influenza strain, originated in birds and mutated to infect humans. The first cases were reported in the spring of 1918, amidst World War I, which played a crucial role in its spread. The close quarters and massive troop movements during the war facilitated the rapid transmission of the virus across continents. Spread and characteristics. The pandemic came in multiple waves, with the second wave in the fall of 1918 being the most deadly. Unlike typical influenza outbreaks that predominantly affect the young, elderly, and immunocompromised, the 1918 virus unusually struck young, healthy adults. This led to a high mortality rate and created a significant impact on society and the economy, as this age group played a critical role in the workforce and military services. Global impact. The pandemic infected an estimated one-third of the world's population and caused the deaths of approximately 50 million people worldwide, with some estimates going even higher. Its impact was global, affecting not just Europe and North America but also remote communities in the Arctic and Pacific Islands. The high mortality rate, coupled with the ongoing war, led to widespread social and economic disruption. Public health responses and challenges. The 1918 pandemic exposed the inadequacies in public health responses of that time. Many healthcare systems were overwhelmed, and there was no effective vaccine or antiviral drugs to treat the flu. Public health measures varied widely, including quarantine, isolation, use of masks, and closures of schools and public places. However, these measures were often implemented inconsistently and too late to effectively contain the spread. Long-term consequences. The pandemic had profound long-term consequences. It influenced the course of World War I, possibly hastening its end. The massive loss of life and the strain on economies led to significant social changes. Additionally, it spurred advancements in public health, leading to better disease surveillance and response strategies, as well as the development of the field of virology and influenza research. In summary, the 1918 influenza pandemic was a cataclysmic event that reshaped societies, economies, and the course of human history. Its legacy continues to influence our approach to public health and our understanding of infectious diseases. What is influenza really? And what is the difference between it and flu? Influenza is the name of the virus that causes a respiratory infection, commonly known as the flu. It infects the nose, throat, and sometimes the lungs. Here's a detailed explanation of how the influenza virus enters your body and causes illness. Entry into the body. Inhalation of droplets. The most common way influenza enters your body is through inhaling tiny droplets containing the virus. These droplets are released into the air when an infected person coughs, sneezes, or talks. So, if you have the flu, wear a mask so you don't infect others, and also, keep good hand hygiene. Contact with contaminated surfaces. You can also contract the virus by touching surfaces or objects contaminated with the flu virus, like doorknobs or smartphones, and then touching your mouth, nose, or eyes. Brings us back to hand hygiene. Wash your hands as many times as possible with soap, or even better, carry hand sanitizers with you. Initial infection. Attachment to host cells. Once inside your respiratory tract, the influenza virus uses its surface proteins, particularly hemagglutinin, to bind to receptors on the surface of cells in your nose, throat, and lungs. Cellular invasion and replication. After binding to a host cell, the virus is taken inside the cell. Inside the cell, the virus releases its genetic material, RNA, and begins to use the host cell's machinery to replicate its RNA and produce viral proteins. Spread and immune response. Virus multiplication and release. Newly created viral particles are assembled and then released from the host cell, either by causing the cell to die and burst, or by budding off from the cell membrane. This release of new viruses infects additional cells in the respiratory tract. Immune system activation. The infection of respiratory cells triggers your body's immune response. White blood cells, antibodies, and other components of the immune system are activated to fight off the virus. This immune response is responsible for many of the symptoms of the flu. Symptoms. Common symptoms. As the immune system battles the virus, you develop symptoms like fever, chills, muscle aches, photosensitivity of the eye, and sore throat. These are the first set that you will notice, then cough, nasal congestion, runny nose, headaches, and fatigue. Inflammation. The immune response, especially in the lungs, can cause inflammation, which contributes to breathing difficulties and a worsening cough. Potential complications. In some cases, particularly among high-risk groups, like the elderly, young children, and people with certain chronic illnesses, the flu can lead to more severe respiratory problems like pneumonia, as well as exacerbate existing medical conditions. Recovery or further complications. Recovery. For most people, the immune system eventually clears the virus, leading to recovery. Rest, hydration, and supportive care are typically sufficient for recovery. Severe cases. In severe cases, medical intervention might be necessary, especially if secondary bacterial infections or other complications arise. You might think it is too common and not really serious, but this is the most stubborn and wicked infection, and here is why. High mutability. Influenza viruses have a high mutation rate, especially the two main surface proteins, hemagglutinin, H, and neuraminidase, N. This mutability leads to frequent changes in the virus, which means people can get infected multiple times throughout their lives as their previous immunity becomes less effective against new strains. Do you know your body stores the information of every infection that enters your body with the help of B memory cells? Reason for this is to prevent immune response and inflammation the next time the same infection enters your body. Because infections don't really make you sick at first, but the immune responses make you feel sick. This is the mentality behind vaccines. Your body stores information about these infractions so that next time it enters your body will recognize it, and instead of causing an immune response and making you sick, it will quietly go kill the infection. But influenza is very stubborn. What I am trying to say is that all the flu infections you have ever had have been different, because they are mutants. That is why you keep getting sick because of flu. Antigenic shift and drift. Influenza viruses undergo two types of genetic changes: antigenic drift, small changes over time, and antigenic shift, sudden, major change. Antigenic drift is the reason we need a new flu vaccine each year. Antigenic shift, on the other hand, can lead to new influenza A subtypes, potentially causing pandemics, as most people have little to no immune protection against the new virus. Transmission and contagiousness. The flu is highly contagious. It spreads easily from person to person through droplets when an infected person coughs or sneezes, or by touching surfaces contaminated with the virus. The ease of transmission contributes to widespread outbreaks. Complications and severity. While many influenza infections are mild, the virus can cause severe illness and lead to complications, particularly in high-risk groups such as the elderly, young children, pregnant women, and individuals with chronic health conditions or weakened immune systems. Complications can include pneumonia, bronchitis, sinus infections, and ear infections. In severe cases, influenza can lead to hospitalization or death. Strain variation and unpredictability. The different strains of influenza, such as H1N1, H3N2, and influenza B viruses, can vary in their severity. This variation, coupled with the virus's ability to mutate quickly, makes it challenging to predict and prepare for each flu season. Of course, I am going to give you ways you can treat this and manage it, both medical and natural treatment. Medical treatments. Antiviral medications. Examples: oseltamivir, Tamiflu, zanamivir, Relenza, Peramivir, Rapivab, and baloxavir, Xofluza. These drugs work by inhibiting the ability of the flu virus to replicate within the body. They are most effective when taken within 48 hours of the onset of symptoms. Analgesics and antipyretics. Examples: acetaminophen, Tylenol, ibuprofen, Advil, and aspirin, for adults. These medications help reduce fever and alleviate body aches and pains associated with the flu. Decongestants. Function: relieve nasal congestion and sinus pressure. Forms: available in oral forms or nasal sprays. Cough suppressants and expectorants. Function: help manage the cough that often accompanies the flu. Expectorants can help loosen mucus in the lungs. Natural treatments and home remedies. Adequate hydration. Keeping hydrated is crucial, as fever and increased metabolic rate during illness can lead to dehydration. Options: water, broth, herbal teas, and electrolyte replenishing beverages. Rest. Adequate rest is essential for the body to fight off the virus effectively. Fluids. Herbal teas, warm broths, or soups. I like chicken soup, which works all the time for me. Can help soothe a sore throat and relieve congestion. Honey. A natural cough suppressant that can be added to tea or warm water. It has antimicrobial and soothing properties. Note: not for infants under 1 year due to the risk of botulism. Ginger and garlic. Both have natural antiviral and antibacterial properties and can be included in the diet or taken as supplements. This is another pair that works for me, together with lemon. Vitamin C and zinc. Roll. May help boost the immune system. Found in citrus fruits, leafy greens, and supplements. Steam inhalation or humidifiers. Benefits: can help alleviate nasal congestion and respiratory symptoms. This helps too, but I hate doing it. Herbal supplements. Examples: echinacea, elderberry, and andrographis are often touted for their immune-boosting properties. While both medical treatments and natural remedies can be effective in managing flu symptoms, it's crucial to approach treatment holistically. In the case of severe symptoms, or if you belong to a high-risk group, it's important to seek medical advice promptly. Prevention through annual flu vaccinations remains the most effective strategy against influenza. Always consult with a healthcare provider before starting any new treatment regimen, especially if you have underlying health conditions or are taking other medications. Thank you for watching my video, and even more, watching to the end. If you are new to my channel, please like and subscribe to get more videos like this. I wish you all a very beautiful and healthy life. See you in my next video.